Hey guys, Stuart, g'day. David David Berlaney. I mess up everyone's names. Mark Osborne, g'day. David Sykes, hello. Stephen Lang, hello. Adam Carmichael, g'day. Peter Nottle, hello. Dan Shed, hello. Etc, etc, etc. G'day. Look, Tea and Biscuits, hello. AIDS Workshop, good morning from sunny Wales. Yeah, good morning from sunny Queensland. Russ Knox, g'day. I hope you're doing all right and the sand's blowing away a bit. David, are you having trouble with sand? Is that still an issue? Is it a problem? Give us an update, guys. I'll show here. I've been cleaning up all weekend. You can't tell, right? Camera shot, you really can't tell, but yeah, there is some cleaning that's been done as such, I guess. DJ, did you sneak in? See that? Maybe you did. Yes, Foxburgs. So, bench is still messy. There's projects all strewn all over it everywhere still. It's sort of a perpetual thing. Don't stress too much about that. Made another bookcase for upstairs. Got that sort of half finished, but it's one just as you walk inside the door. So we're sort of halfway through some fairly awful sign painting on that as well. Just on the end of it. If we have a look. There we go. So it's a bit of crappy imitation silver leaf and some paint. And there's nowhere near finished, so another update next week maybe. Am I out of focus? Hope not, probably. So that's just a quick bit of messing around this weekend. Of course, we're going to skid this sideways, sorry guys. Places it. All over the place. I'm out of focus now, sorry guys. Apologise for this. There we are, we're sort of square and somewhere near there anyway. This is the, hope that's back in focus, hey? On the sun painting, I don't like the orange, that's going to go, we're going to have a go at that, but we're getting there. It's a work in progress, there's still a few coats to go on it yet. Anyway, this is the monumental upheaval that's happened this week. One of such is new stock rack. How cool is this? I had a sheet, I invested in a sheet of form ply and I've just made up a rack. It's on, maybe tilt that over, it's on 4 wheels if you can see that, which is probably a waste of time because the thing's getting a bit heavy. I've had stock here in cardboard boxes everywhere for quite some time and still do, to be honest. But it's starting to go away, which is really good. James P, g'day. So that's where we're at. We haven't as yet cleaned the top off, as you will notice. That's still a work in progress too, but we have a stock rack in place, and that's a whole lot better because we've got all this floor space up here that we never had before, which is amazing. The welding trolley's got to come up this end somewhere out of the way at some point. Probably just here in the corner. So we've got space to do that now and not be anywhere near as bad as it was. The welding trolley might actually just sit here in the middle. I don't know, we'll see, and probably there's room to walk around it. We're still thinking about that. But that's a whole lot better than it was. Up the top we've got like tool steel mostly, O1 and ground flat stock and D4 and stuff like that. In here at the moment we've got welding wire and silver solder. There's a box of silver solder that I pilfered off out of Dad's shed when we cleaned up. Couple of kilo bag of 40% or 45%, which was worth having. This is brass, which we have plenty of brass stock. It's a bit of aluminium here and some copper tube. This is mostly heavier stock, steel stock, as is down the bottom too. So we're getting there. It's starting to look all right. So that was a fairly solid weekend's work. I bought 2 sheets of ply and I made a bookcase out of one, which is going upstairs. The problem with PVC pipes, and a few people suggested this, and Chirpy's got that system, and it's probably quite good if you've got bits that are a foot long. When you've got bits that are 3 inches long, you tend to just dig through it and have a look at the end and see what's pointing out and fish the bit out. But you could throw out 30 kilos of brass that's under 2 inches long. But the trouble is with having it in small PVC pipes or whatever, is that it gets pushed down the end and you can't find it. So at this point we're living with what we got. That may change. What might be better is honestly, if you put 4 shelves in there 40mm apart, something like that, and put squares on ones and rounds on another one, hexagon on another one, odd shapes on the other side and flats on another one, that would probably be the ultimate system. But still, if you can't get your hand inside there to get the bits out the back, you've got problems. Anyway, we're still thinking. That's a situation. Anyway, it's a lot better than it was, and I haven't actually as yet thrown out any stock, but I've thrown out quite a lot of junk, so I'm doing okay. My materials are mounted on the floor too, or it was until last week, and I'm really not a big happy with that. And yeah, small stuff in buckets isn't the answer either. Kevin, g'day. So anyway, this is good because I can see what I got, and pretty much I can look in there and say, hey, look, yeah, I've got a bit of 2-inch aluminium, or I've got a bit of 50mm aluminium, or I've got a bit of 2-inch brass. I've got some 5/8 and some 1/2-inch hex if I need it. I've got some pinion wire if I need that. I've got some inch copper tube or some 2-inch copper tube, whatever. So still getting there anyway. Marcus Christensen called in today with some junk, and we'll get to that in a minute. I'm not feeling like I've done the right thing by accepting it, but it's here, and I'm probably going to try and offload some of it if anyone's interested. So, but he did drop off. I bought off him some 4140, which is really nice. So about a metre or something there. He said it's a metre. It looks more like about 1200, something like that. Of inched 4140, and an offcut of what looks to be about 35mm. And another offcut there of what looks to be inch 25mm, something like that. We're going black and white measurements a bit today. I'm a bit tired, sorry. So that was a score. Christensen Machine Works, if you're in Queensland and you're looking for anything like that, because he's usually got stocks that he'll move on. No particular projects in mind for any of that, but there you go. That is exciting news. Off the UK to pick up some Hornby gauge track from my funicular railway project. That sounds awesome. So, yeah, what else is happening? There's a couple of projects we're working on. Let's move the camera. Will we move the camera? Don't know if we're winning here with the whole camera situation at the moment. The last few weeks, I'm feeling like the camera situation needs some work. We'll see. I'm not sure if this whole clamp system's really good. Got this nice bench top down here. It's a pity to move it, but we'll have a look at the junk we've picked up today. Yeah, there'll be projects eventually. It's good. I have got a project for some of it actually. I've got a job that needs a little bit. Adam's been working on this. He says it's sort of a joint project, but I don't kind of feel like it is, to be honest. It's just off the printer. What have we got here? Fluke. The projects are, I haven't done much this weekend, to be honest, on the workbench. I haven't really. I've sort of sat down and shuffled it around a bit and looked at some parts and put them back down again. That's about where I'm at with that. Maybe I will next weekend, might neither unless it rains. So we'll see how we go with that. This is Adam's work of art. He sent me the STLs for this, and we've sort of been fine tuning it, and we've got it pretty close. Probably going to stick these online somewhere to download. So if you tune in next week and you've got a Fluke meter, this is something you need. In a 3D printer, you need this. So we'll have a link to download them next week. But this fits in here nice like that. So if you want to put a string on it or a bit of parachute cord and a ring or something like that, make a nice job of it, you've got somewhere to hang your Fluke meter up, which is pretty awesome. So I'll remind you next week, have $5 in your PayPal account or something to cover them, and we'll have a download link, because I reckon Adam's put a bit of work into that, so see if we can get him something back out of it, but we sell 2 of them. But it's a pretty good design, and it works. We've messed around with it, and I've printed about 10 of them until it does work, but it's just got a clip on it. So if you've got a Fluke meter of any sort, that just sits in there like that, and it's got 2 holes to hang it up, and they print pretty nice. Hey Anthony. So everyone's got a Fluke meter, I think, but that's a pretty cool tool for that. Fluke actually make one. I think it's about $120, something like that, $112, something like that. But don't want to tread on Fluke's sort of toes either, but this actually works, this one. The price I saw was $112 or something for the genuine kit. But it all clicks in there nicely, nice and solid. Press the button and then click him out. Kind of like that, so if anyone's interested, next week we might get to that. It just needs a little bit more fine tuning, maybe, not much. Looks good, Adam. It's the first time I think you've seen one. I reckon that fruit could go on the other side quite nicely. Wouldn't hurt. I think it'd print nicer on the other side too. That's where I'm at with that. The official one's got fluke written on it, which adds triples the price of most things, to be honest. Good meter. This one's a cheap Chinese one. Well, it's not a cheap Chinese one. It's a fluke meter. It's a genuine fluke meter that's sold for the Asian market or for the Chinese market. So it's sort of a reverse grey import. And a bit hard to get here, and they're not supposed to be sold in Australia, but this is a pretty good meter. It's a very, very basic unit compared to some of the flash ones, but that's 18B. Anyway, that's a pretty cool little download if you've got a 3D printer and nothing better to do. It's took on 0.1 layer height, that's an ABS, so it's pretty nice. It printed nice and took about an hour or something to print. So yeah, make a multimeter necklace, or to hang it up on a pipe, or hang it up on a hook, or hang it on the wall, or somewhere where you can read it so that you're not sort of holding it in one hand or balancing it on your knee. That's a pretty cool idea, I reckon. Hey, Paul. Got some parachute cord and stuff. I might make something up on the end of it so I can hang that up. Anyway, that's what I've been messing around with a bit during the weekend, getting them sorted. But yeah, it wants a clip or a ring or something on it. 40mm rings, probably good. Bunnings have them. And probably all it needs is a loop of string, so you can put it over things. But always find when testing things, it would be very useful to have it hanging up. Yeah, most multimeters, like this one's fallen off here. No batteries in this at the moment. I'll just close the back. It's a bit poor. There we go. Most fluke meters come with a stand anyway, so it's got a stand, and that's all right on the bench. Every time you pick it up or pick a lead up, it gets dropped or it knocks off, or if you, especially I find if you're working places, I've used one of these in my work in the field. If you drop it off the edge, or it falls off the edge, or you pull the pole, you know, if it's not anchored somewhere, it ends up being a 2-day job to fish it out, if it's any good when you've done. So I think that's just a smart idea. It's just a clever thing. Don't care if no one wants one, but it's very, very useful, and I thought I'd have one anyway. Yeah, and they fall over with the built-in stand too. That's another thing. This one's backlit anyway. It's a fluke. But yeah, pegboard hook sounds like a good idea too. There you go. Is 2-inch copper tube easy to find in Aussie? Yeah, just from the plumbing supplies, I think. I don't think you have any problems buying it. You've probably got to buy a metre of it or a length of it. But 2-inch copper tube is pretty easy to find, I think. Some of the smaller sizes, there's not so much. 25mm and 50mm non-nominal, or call it, or It's actually still imperial sizes, so it's 1 inch and 2 inch. 1.25 inch, 1 3/8, 1.5 inch, 1 3/4 are a bit hard to find in places now. But 2 inch, probably 2.5 or 65mm or whatever they call it, is probably pretty easy to find still. So that's something else we've been messing around with, and it looks like a pretty good thing. I'm really pleased with that. I don't know, kind of like that. Pretty good thing, I reckon. I'm a fan. So Marcus Christensen Machine Works dropped some stuff, and it's a bit of a nuisance, really. I won't bag him out on it, but I have a cabinet, right, which could do with a tin of degreaser and a hose, and probably a good scrub, and a coat of paint if you're feeling that way inclined. It's pretty scruffy and fairly dirty. It's on sort of a stand, which is neither use nor ornament. Now, this is brown built, I reckon. Geez, it's heavy. Like, you've got no idea how heavy this is. It's sort of got a lock in here that's fallen through. It's a card file system, which is not particularly useful for holding tools in. But probably, it's got these card file things that sit on here. They just come out though. Probably what you could do is cut some 5mm, 6mm MDF or something the right size in strips and sit on top here, and you'd have some fairly decent drawers. So, but it's already crazy heavy. And it's got assortment of junk in it. There's some sort of junk that I didn't find. I'm not going to tell him they're there. They're flint gun flints, I think. There's a few bolts, nuts, screws. It's a 10mm socket. If you're looking for a 10mm socket, I might scruff that too. Everyone needs one of them. No, it's only 9mm. There you go. So probably, if I hadn't built that materials cabinet this weekend and this turned up tonight, I might have just used this instead. So I'm kind of glad I did make a materials cabinet. But this is probably available to anyone close by who thinks that they would like a tool cabinet for their workshop. This one is probably available. I'm just saying. Anyway, could do with a clean, and it might get that before it gets moved on. This one here, I did say I would have. This was the deal to start with, which is a little wooden set of drawers, which is quite smart. Someone's put a lot of work into these. And I had every intention of putting this over there on next to the lathe under the Kennedy box. That was the thought behind that. So it might still happen. It'd be a nice flavour too, I reckon. It's been in a machine shop for about 40 years. So this smells bad. This got that road coal cutting oil smell. Smells like taps and dies from the 1950s. So this is probably worth messing around with. put a bit of work into it. They're sort of little wooden shell, little wooden drawers. And they've got catches on them so they don't pull right out and don't fall out, which is kind of useful. Some of them, the top ones anyway. So this might get cleaned up and used, but this one here, which has got 3 shelves in it, with plywood on top of them and sliding doors. It's a fairly tidy cabinet. There's no dents or dings or anything in it. My mate had this in Brisbane and I said I didn't want it because I haven't got room for it. He tried to give it to me for about 6 months and then he took it down to Marcus at Christensen Machine Work. Now Marcus is having a clean up and he's actually moved it on and I've ended up with it after all anyway. So anyone who's coming past who lives local and you're watching this and you think you might like a tool cabinet, and sort of hit me up. So this might go upstairs or it might go somewhere else. It might even go out the back as storage. I don't know. We might put it outside and use it to store stuff in. I don't know. See how well it cleans up. But there you go. Same here, Paul. Fittings and pipes are nearly all Imperial. Not steel pipes, but copper and brass. So there we go. So 3 cabinets in the way. Not even a little bit helpful. I'll put your shop name down the side of it and in gold leaf if you want. But you've got to come and get it. There you go. We're down with that. Can't beat an offer like that. Same with this one. Heaps of room to. Might be fun to sign write it anyway and then offer it up for sale. I don't know. Someone wants to look at this. I guess this is what you're all waiting for. And so pick this out as a thumbnail. It says rotate camera, rotate camera, rotate camera. Don't know if we've got anywhere to actually put this camera. We haven't. I'll bolt it on this bench over here like so, perhaps. Sorry guys. This is my mate's bike next door. Slasher. So been working on this a bit off and on. Belongs to guy next door. And it's here while he's on holidays. Get a few little jobs done. I'm trying not to scratch it or anything. Holy crap, everyone says. It's a Harley Sportster. We might have a bit of a walk around it and have a bit of a look at some of the jobs we're doing. And some of the jobs we've done, if anyone's interested. So, this is a show bike, of course. I'm probably more interested in the tank artwork. This is airbrush tanks. That doesn't do them justice at all. I'm scared of it. Like, honestly, I'm scared of this thing. I'll show you why in a minute. I think he's taken it for a spin twice now and he's scared of it too. So that's where we're at. We've got a dozen things to make for it and that's sort of what we're working on. It's got turbo on this side, the fairly serious blower. It's missing the exhaust pipe at the moment. It's missing the pulley, which is here to be welded. I'm not going to weld it, but I've got someone who will. It's been modified because some idiot put a 300mm back tyre on it. I don't know if you really know. You can actually see how big that is. What have we got that we can put on the ground that sort of shows us? Everyone knows sort of what size things are. Don't know if I've got anything that's sort of... It's 150mm square steel raw. Give you some idea how wide that tyre is. So this thing's got way more traction than the tyre's got grip. So it sort of tends to hydroplane a bit, and if you're not a pretty competent rider, I reckon that the thing's just going to basically drop the back end out quick as even look at it. You know, it's flighty. So I just noticed that he's put his number plate on back to front. I've put his number plate on a bit of a slant. It's still got to have a custom seat, which has been made. There's the artwork on it. Gauges are on that side. Hey, Kimber. That's a NOS cylinder, which is taking that to the next level. The keys are in it. So we've got miniature LEDs on the back, which are pretty awesome. We've got air shocks. Because everyone needs them. We've got gauges that are going to go. I think that's not going to be an actual thing. Hey, Casual Steel. I don't think those gauges are actually usable. There's an intercooler on this side we've still got to make brackets for, and top tank. Still got to hook this up somewhere. That's another bracket job. There's half a bracket there but it doesn't work. Everything's been changed. Everything's all LED. I'll turn that off so it doesn't flatten his battery. So that's the machine. We've spent a bit of time here and actually made brackets for here. I don't know if anyone saw them when we were making them. So these foot pegs are about 40mm forward and further up. I'm probably going to start production on that. I've got orders for about 4 sets of those, so they're pretty good little money spinner actually. There's brackets and bolts to move the standard pedals a bit further, a bit more comfortable for a long run. Do the blinker lights flash really fast? I'm not sure. I don't think so. So anyway, that's kind of what's happening with it. Of course, the pulley has to stick out a whole lot more. And this pipe was actually made in Indonesia and it didn't really fit. So still a work in progress. We managed to get it bolt up the second time they sent one. The first one didn't fit at all. It is a fairly complicated little pipe, but at this point it works, and you've got pipes sticking out here everywhere. I mean, some pretty ugly stuff. So that's something we're spending a bit of time on. There's full paying jobs on this, which is good. Just messing around, getting everything working. Mike from Cornwall, good day. So it's a project bike, and it's a that's where we're at. So that might be of interest to people. Getting this all to fit between on the back here was a bit of a challenge. Actually, we spent a lot of head scratching and messing around and making bushes different lengths and that sort of thing to get it so that not only is the tyre sort of in the centre of the mudguard, but the pulley's on the outside of the tyre, and the pulley also lines up in some way with the pulley on the motor, and the brake shoes and everything don't touch on the brake caliper or anything there, which is hanging down the back there. It's an original frame. It's an original motor. It's modified. It's been chopped off here, if you notice, and this guard is Jen used a new guard for it. It's been chopped here. The swing arm's new. I think that's a kit swing arm that sort of works for that. This is a whole lot wider than sort of this swing arm kit was ever expected to have on it. So swing arm bushes there, 3D printed. That one's got his numbers on it. So it's pretty crazy, and if you can actually ride the thing without getting these Kevlar stuck to his legs from the heat, it's going to be a bit of a miracle. But I don't imagine this bike will do a whole lot of miles, to be honest. So yeah, someone likes Japanese noodles. That's exactly right. It's a pretty crazy jolly pipework system on it. But been messing with that. That's sort of one of the paying jobs that are coming through here at the moment. And there seems to be a lot more of them coming through. So this conversion kit for the front foot pegs is going to be something we're going to be making quite a few of. I'm going to start knocking them out. Make 3 or 4 sets, I think, in the next little while. Apart from that, is it an extended swing arm, or does it just look like that? It's sort of, don't know if it's extended. Not sure how you mean by extended, but it's pretty crazy wide. So there you go. That's a look at one of the jobs that's coming through here pretty regular. I'm not 100% sure that that's its final, guys, and you might see it again before it's finished. But it's here for a few more mods. It could be a bit longer. It is a fairly big wheel on the back and a fairly big wheel on the front, so I think it's also quite a lot lower on the back than it was, so I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how that works. Close up of the tail art. Close up of the artwork. This is airbrushed by a local. I think this is just sitting here. They may have actually bolted that on, but that covers up half of it. I think there's going to be a custom seat that's going to sort of show that off a bit better. And the tanks. So bit gothic, but it's a show bike. Absolutely. So high bars with the mirrors underneath, which I really find is a pretty uncomfortable sort of a thing to ride. You sort of got to be doubled up in the middle. But yeah, a lot of skulls. This place is probably quite a lot cleaner than it was. That bench has all been cleaned up. There's a problem with cabinets here at the moment. That's the exhaust pipe, and that's so far the pulley. We had to extend that. So put another 8mm, 10mm in this or probably 60mm on the stock pulley. It's all press fit, so it just needs a welding job at some point. And there's a bracket to modify. That's the tailpipe. Goes on it. Cleaned out Marcus's drawers, and this is the good stuff that I found in them, so we're going to go through that. Does anyone know what these are? Brains Trust? Some sort of a dog clutch arrangement with bevel gear on it. Might be out of a winch or something. No idea. Peter, you're probably right. That instrument cluster I think is going to go. What we've decided, I think, the next project with this is to ditch those. I think the Speedo is going to stay there. These are almost impossible to see, the 4 digital gauges. He hasn't pulled 2 out. But they're almost impossible to see in the sunlight, and they shake around everywhere, and it makes riding it somewhat uncomfortable. So I think we're going to leave the Speedo there, and I think we're putting a mobile phone display, a touchscreen display on top there in between the handlebars is the next job. Blinking LED, yeah, I think the immobiliser systems probably needs that's probably fixed the blinking LED. So it's still a work in progress. There's a lot of this paintwork, I think, in the bronze and stuff is going to be redone. But that's what you've got if you put 30 grand into a Harley. That's sort of what you end up with. Not sure it's my thing, but there you go. He's very worried that someone's going to notice that this pulley's on back to front, because if you put it on the right way around, there's no way it's all going to fit on the axle. So he also fitted this number plate and put it on crooked the other day. He said not very happy with that, so it might get a job before he gets back. I might let him borrow a little file and get that sorted. But the thing's pretty heavy, I would say. This is all like 3mm steel, panel steel. Anyway, that's what we're messing with in our days off when I've got nothing else to do. What else? See, the floor space is getting a whole lot better. There's boxes of stock that aren't there anymore. There's still stuff to put away. Need to get rid of that bookcase. Need to move this welding trolley down there. And things should be pretty comfortable. We still need to lift that table or that shelf up in the welding trolley so we can put that drawer to come in and out. And then most of the cables and things go in that drawer. So we're feeling a little bit organised. A little bit more organised than we were. But it's a bit of a job. And locomotives haven't progressed at all, even a little bit, to be honest. So, hey, that sounds awesome. There's like more router build stuff. So there's 1,000 jobs that still need to be done. I guess they're sort of always. I can't see it ever being finished. I actually lifted the shelf up under the milling machine to fit the vacuum cleaner in, and it's still 10 mil too low, so I'm not sure what to do about that yet. We'll have a think about that, but we might lift the Centec up another on the shelf and lift the bottom of the shelf up again too, and put the vacuum cleaner in under there and everything, and it's out of the way, a bit more floor space. So there we go. Probably on top of the tool rack, I'm probably going to put my ultrasonic, and if it was in a more convenient place and a bit further away from the mill, I would probably put the bandsaw up there, but it's not particularly helpful up there at the moment. If I do put this, to keep one of these cabinets, the bandsaw might live on top of that. We had a device go flat there. Sorry guys. I hope you still got us. I think we're back. We're still here. So I've also got some timber to make a woodworking box to put some tools in as well. Might do a nice job of that rather than this form ply and chipboard screw thing, which is a bit ugly. And we'll see how we go with that, but I want to get a couple of these little locomotives off the bench and going first. There's also a bandsaw here that needs a home or something to do. I don't know. I'm still looking for things to. Anyway, take care. Anyway, they're all things that are sort of happening on some level. I think this weekend, if the weather sort of finds up, I'm probably going to be out and about with mates, so not going to get a whole lot done Sunday. And we'll see how we go Monday, Tuesday. It's sort of might clean these cabinets up and might even think of something to put a sign written panel on one side of one of them, and it might go over there against the wall or something. I don't know. We'll still think about that. Don't want to encroach too much on everyone else's space. There's probably room for it around the other end of the bench there too. Don't know. Yeah, going with friends are a pretty bad influence. So yeah, I'm trying not to end up too broke, too heavily committed on funds that I don't have. That's where I'm at. So I'll proceed with caution. I also don't want to be responsible for any divorces or breakups or anything. He's a good mate, but he tends to spend a lot of money that his wife doesn't know about. So we'll leave it at that. Anyway, not going to incriminate anyone on that level in case she's listening. But there you go. What else? Apart from that, we seem to have impasse on some projects. Absolutely. Got no idea how to make a collet rack yet. Still working on that. Had a go at straightening out this crankshaft and sorting that out when I had COVID, and I wasn't particularly successful with it, so I'm probably going to have another go. I'm not real happy with it. Need to sit down and do that though. While I was crook, really wasn't probably the best opportunity. What else? There's link in the. I actually managed to put a link in the description on the video for Discord server, etc., etc., etc. You should go and check out those things and subscribe to them and all that. Join in because we're pretty good fun. Hit the thumbs up. Go and check out all these other channels. There's some good content from everyone else on this channel. Oh, everyone else who's tuned in. Who's got a new video up? I didn't see one from Fridge, from Dan Shed. I didn't see a video from him. I guess it's probably coming, but I've heard that before. Was there one from Chirpy recently? I think there might have been. I think I saw that. Check out Tea and Biscuits. It's a pretty good new channel. AIDS Workshop. Check his channel out. It's pretty productive. Lots of cool stuff he makes. Who else is out there? Stephen Lang. You should check him out. David Bellani, you should check him out too. He's got a pretty cool channel. James P, I think James P's probably got a channel too. You should go and check him out. Probably got a channel. And Kim Bazalik, you should check him out. Absolutely. And DJ. There's a lot of really cool content creators. I feel a bit sort of left out because you guys are awesome. But yeah, Russ Knox is a pretty hard act to beat. Aid, thanks for that. We'll keep an eye out for that. Go and check that out. Chirpy did the ARW chat, so someone must have some influence in that little circle because Chirpy's not that person anyway. That would be awesome, David. Love to see how your rasp performs. Chirpy's made his own rasps recently. It's pretty awesome. So all the background on most of those projects are actually on Discord. It's really awesome to tune in and have a little bit of input to whether they listen to you or not, but it's really cool to be able to see things as they evolve and then turn into videos. So the Discord channel's worth a look probably if that's your thing. Anyway, so that's what's happening here. It's a pretty quick overview of my week. Feels like it's been flat out again. After COVID, it's been like non-stop this last week. Also worked extra couple of days and stuff. So just trying to catch up on jobs. Good stuff, eh? That's awesome. Worthwhile checking progress at Cliff Shed, that's true too. Anyway, what else? I've sort of swept the floor and sort of swept some of the benches, and I've sort of cleaned the mill. I've sort of moved some shelves that weren't quite moved far enough. I've pulled apart 3 or 4 boxes of stock. I've still got boxes to go. I've got boxes like this, you see. This is where the issue is. I guess everyone does. See, boxes like this. Well, most of these offcuts got some sort of story. I remember what most of these were used for. Made a heap of pipe wrenches for watching your box giveaway. That's one of them that didn't quite make it. That's one that got a bit further and didn't quite make it. Don't know what that is. But all this stuff probably just needs putting away. There's a bag of sheet brass, some square. Just a matter of sitting down and spending some time chucking some of it out and putting it away. A bit of hex aluminium, bit of 1.5-inch brass, a bit of copper and a bit of copper sheet. There's a drop forging for a snap-on 3/8 ratchet. Yeah, it might be a fun project one day. That's the reason I kept that. There's a boring bar that I made for a job or something. Any news from Bronze? John Creasy didn't turn up, but he'll have the latest. I think he's still alive probably. But things are pretty miserable over there. John will have the latest information. There's a hook. That's a bit of cast iron that's probably not worth keeping. It's another block of cast iron that might be worth keeping. It's a picture hook. Probably also not worth keeping. Heap of filing buttons. Should all go in a box somewhere. A lot of bits like that which are probably useful for something or they're not, or I could toss it out and probably need it next week. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. There's a bit of O1 tool steel. I even have a bit of O1 tool steel. What looks like 30mm diameter. Awesome. Yeah, send John a mail or a message or whatever and see what he says. Usually he tunes in and it's good to get the latest on it because he does keep in touch with him a bit. What's that? No idea. That's 50 by 25. I would say that that's K1020 or something. An old measurement. There's a bit of nylon that's probably not much good for anything. A lot of bits of aluminium scrap, stuff like that. Short bits, small bits. Drop that. It's a hand wheel that was on my pantograph engraver, which I replaced. I have to spend some time to get that fixed too. There's 1,000 things here I could do. That's stainless steel apparently. I think that short bit of inch of stainless steel that Marcus dropped in. I remember him saying that. Anyway, there you go. A lot of very useful things. There's a leftover piece that was actually laser cut for my little dynamo I built, which doesn't actually work as a dynamo. We'll call it an electric motor. I'd like to have another go at that at some point in all my spare time in between other projects. Pantograph engraver. It's got some backlash problems, Chirp is the problem. And it's probably fixable without a whole lot of hassle. It needs a few bits made for it. I'd like to see some sort of tapered anti-backlash system in all the joints, whereas they've only got like a shoulder screw, which is actually loose in the cast iron over time. So you could ream them out and make new shoulder screws, a nice fit, but it's not really the best. If you put tapered heads and tapered nuts on them to run on like a double-sided taper hole, then you could probably get them pretty close with a spring and a nut or something like that. I'm still thinking about that. That's what it needs. It's a good machine. It's got backlash issues, which are driving it, really not helping with it. So there is no priority system. Just don't judge me. Tea and biscuits, don't judge me. You haven't got to the point yet where you've got enough projects going. You've just started another one. You've got a couple already going. Seriously, don't judge me. I'm feeling targeted here. Yeah, I might get out and have a bit of a look at it at some point. The trouble is with making an update video on it is it means I've actually got to do something. Oh, it's total judgment. I'm feeling judged. Anyway, I've got 3 things here on the bench that I really want to get going before I do anything else. One is the next phase of the 3-cap attachment. Second one is this little Molliette O-gauge loco. And third one is this narrow gauge loco that's coming together a bit here. That's sort of a toy project. It's plastic and brass and stuff. So, I mean, pantograph design is kind of a field all on its own. And unless you actually get close to one to go through it and see how it actually all works, it's very difficult to interpolate those good ideas onto a machine that was a bit substandard and fairly basic to start with. And it was probably good when it was new, but now it's worn out. There's just way too much backlash. When you've got more backlash than the thickness of the leather, you've got problems. We'll see how we go, Chirp. No promises, but we'll see how we go when we've got the bench cleared in another couple of weeks. I'll put it on the list. We're getting there. We've certainly made some progress. Honestly, we've made a fair bit of progress on putting things away and cleaning up, and it's been a big weekend. A couple more like this and we might actually get somewhere. Anyway, probably nearly going to call it, guys. You sound like you've all had enough too. There's not a whole lot of particularly passionate banter going on in the chat section, so I'm probably going to call it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for keeping me company for a bit on Wednesday night. Really appreciate that. Thanks for the nice words. Anyone who's close by and is driving past and who would like a cabinet, appeal to the better person in me, and I might give it to you. They haven't cost me anything, and I'm not sure where I'm even going to put them. So anyway, I'm done, I think. Be kind to each other. Go check out Aid's video on the Ukraine support, which really appreciate him doing that. Go and check that out. keep $5 in your pocket for a print of Adam's pretty awesome fluke hanger. Well, for a file anyway, to print it. I've done the design work, or I've done he's done his design work, and he's done the CAD work and the design work, and spent a couple of days on it, and I've printed a heap of them to make one work. So I haven't got that far out, but more of that next week. Anyway, take care. Might be on Discord for a bit. I'm going to get myself another fresh cup of tea, I think, and go upstairs for a bit. I've put everything away that was sitting around out the front of the door, and head to bed ready for another day tomorrow. So take care. I'm out, and we'll catch you next week. If there's not a video beforehand.